So, buongiorno Rado.
Buongiorno, buongiorno Gianluca.
Come te sta?
Tutto bene,
Tutto bene. So it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks
And,
for inviting me.
Yeah, no, that's our pleasure. So as you know, at Satellite we are doing the extension of coverage for telecom operators, thanks to our unique constellation based on 5G narrowband IoT. And for us, it's a revolution. I think it's going to disrupt the satellite connectivity world. It has been very limited to very specific use cases, critical use cases, because it's too expensive. And now it's going to be for everybody, for every use case. Okay, how do you see it from the perspective of U-Blox?
Definitely, I think this is definitely a revolution in the market because we as one of the leaders in the module market, right, cellular module market, we are very actively looking at all these new trends and features, and especially release 17 NTN. And yes, as you said, this is completely new and will help to get a better connectivity, a global coverage finally, because you think just about that, only 10% of the Earth's surface is covered with cellular connectivity. What about the rest of the 90% of the Earth's surface? And so there are use cases that need global connectivity, but unfortunately, they don't have the cellular coverage, so they are cut out. And the satellite connectivity, yes, it's been on the market since years, but as you said, was still, let me say, a niche market due to maybe two things: cost of the connectivity and cost of the hardware.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the issue we're trying to solve. And how U-Blox differentiate from what's your specific feature that would put U-Blox better than any other um, supplier?
So on the LPWA, as you know, we have even our SARA R5, right, which is our own chipset. So the unique thing is that we don't have just the module; we have also owning the chipset, and so we can adapt to new releases from 3GPP, to new standards and new features like the satellite connectivity. So we can do this in-house. Of course, we are also collaborating with other chipset manufacturers, and we can use even third-party chipset. But having the know-how in-house, I think this is also an advantage for us.
Yeah, I like it a lot because I think there will be a huge market. We are seeing it. We are already receiving a lot of calls and emails and demand from the customers that they want to be connected because all the ecosystem already exists. So the value added service providers are already providing the service over cellular with your solution and others. And the limitation they have really is going beyond the cellular at a reasonable price because they cannot. So what are the typical use cases? The typical use case we are seeing is agriculture, livestock, maritime, a lot about logistics. Okay. So all this they are already working, existing, where cellular coverage is present. And what is going to happen is that we are seeing it is going to multiply by 2 or by 3 the for these specific use cases the final demand over the actually next 12 months to 3 years to 5 years. And so the question here would be, okay, how fast do you think we can be? How fast do you think it can be the take up in the market? How do you see it for yourself? Do you have any experience on the demand for the market?
So from the market perspective, I think this could be quite fast. Of course, as you said, also the ecosystem needs to be built, right? And you are doing this, right? You are creating the network. And so this will go in parallel, let me say, right? Once the ecosystem will be there, once the network will be there, and people will see that it's available, it's possible to also connect, then I think this will start, to generate attention and demand request, right? Because we think that this will definitely help specific use cases that will help, especially agriculture, right? Like this kind of stuff, and it will go in parallel also with existing solution, right? So this will help to boost the satellite connectivity and adoption of this technology, right?
Okay. Do you have an idea how much it takes from when your module is ready to the OEM to have the final device and what's
Depends. This is
the
really
time?
depending on use case and on customers, right? In average, I can say that it's a couple of months, maybe 6 months, from 6 months to 1 year, let me say. This is from when they start the design and once they go in production. Right?
Any ask for Satellite?
Um,
Do you have any ask for Satellite?
yes, I would ask. I mean, how Satellite sees the market from the network operator perspective, and what are your advantages, right, as a Satellite, as a network operator, right, and what is your market view basically, right?
So what we are doing is we don't go to the market directly. Our go-to-market is collaborating with the MNOs, with the carriers of the world. So we work on a wholesale with the carriers, and they sell or extend the coverage for their own customers. So they finally own the customer. Okay. Nevertheless, we've been also reaching out to a large amount of companies in the world to see to test our service and to see what their needs. Okay. So we have very good understanding of what are the use cases that are the ones I mentioned, what would be the right pricing, and what we would expect as a take up. The take up is just amazing. I think that we could have on the first year much more connection than what has been sold on satellite IoT in the last 30 years.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so that's our expectation, and we proved it with our numbers, with our research. We know, for instance, that most of the companies they don't need to send a lot of data when on satellite, so they can clearly go inside the packages, the messages they can send over narrowband IoT. We know where they are located. They are located mainly on in very large countries. So we talk about again Brazil, US, Canada, Argentina, Mexico, India, China, Australia. I mean, the big ones where typically the coverage is lacking a lot because there are also a lot of areas that are not covered. But also they have activity of agriculture, livestock, and many other things. So that's what we are seeing in the market. And it has been, when you start, you don't know. And then when you start talking to the companies, then you start learning things, and you say, "Oh wow, that's interesting," because this is really the demand is really there. So even if we started with the idea because we saw the opportunity in our minds,
Mm-hmm.
and that's typically maybe what many startups would do, but now we have a commitment from the final customers, and this is a proved market. That what we are selling as a market and the market take up would be amazing.
Nice, interesting, nice. But as discussed several times, yes, I completely agree with you. And as I said, this will definitely release 17 will help to boost and to give the possibility even to use cases that today they were not thinking of satellite connectivity, right? Especially small sensors in agriculture, right? That today the satellite connectivity is quite expensive. But in the future, with kind of solution that like satellite is providing, definitely they will boost the market and help those customers.
Yeah, look, I have actually we also have been contacted by companies that are doing new use cases. So I started sailing, and when you study for sailing, then if somebody falls out of the boat, you need to rescue.
Yes.
You have a technique. You need to go around and find the person. And if you don't find the person, bye bye. Okay, and we are in 2024. So these guys they want to have a very cheap solution to put in every life jacket,
Okay.
saying whenever this touches the water, it lights up and sends the indication with
indication
the
with the
reference number
position.
and the GPS.
Okay.
And I said, that's a good one.
Yes, interesting.
Okay. And that's why we always say we believe that a connected world is a better world because it's not just somebody says, okay, agriculture. Well, in agriculture, you can save maybe 30% of water, increase the productivity, and decrease the amount of carbon emission and so on. But not just that, there are new use cases that are very useful for saving lives.